What's going on, guys? This is my 09 FJ Cruiser, and this is everything that will break in your lifetime owning it. Let's go. So I've had this machine for about 6 years now. It's a 2009 FJ Cruiser 6-speed manual transmission, which makes it about 11 to 12 years old. It has about 290,000 kilometers on it, which is roughly about 180,000 miles. So you can say that I've pretty much experienced everything that you would experience with a car, except Toyotas last forever. So here are all the FJ specific things that I've had to fix on it, or that I'm currently still dealing with. If you've got one of these machines, make sure to maintain it well so you don't run into these issues. Since we are talking about maintenance, if you ever need anything done, go visit Mike at Newmarket Toyota. They will take care of you. Amazing customer service. No, this is not a sponsorship message. It's just my honest opinion. The crush bumper. Okay, this thing used to drive me insane. So it was before I upgraded this bumper. There was a crush bumper that sat on these bolts behind the plastic bumper. And so what would happen is every time you drove over a small bump, it would make this small, tiny metal tick noise, enough to drive you insane and to replace your entire car trying to find the noise. If you're really having an issue with this noise, take off the existing plastic bumper and check the crush bumper that is mounted on these 3 bolts over here. The next thing is the windshield. Look at this thing. This thing is basically 90 degrees. It is so upright. It is a magnet for rocks. Take my advice. Don't drive behind construction dump trucks or in Alberta in the wintertime. You'll also notice that there is a lean on the driver's side of the suspension. So this side is always lower for whatever reason. If you look at the cluster here, you will see we are leaning towards the driver's side. I don't know why. Maybe I should stop eating so many Big Macs, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Don't let it bother you. The factory skid plates. They will get absolutely mangled if you go off-roading. So replace it with a good skid plate to protect your sweet, sweet engine. If you plan on upgrading your tire size or adding spacers to your wheels, then you're gonna run into issues where your tires will rub on your body mounts. And that is the area of the frame right here behind your mud flap. It will grind away at this mud flap and it will expose the frame behind it. So what you need to do is you need to remove this mud flap and then just take a grinder and chop off the piece that the tire is rubbing on. Next, we have the inner CV joint boot. Right in there. See that? Right in there. Even if you lift your machine about 2 inches, it will cause this CV clamp to leak. And so what you will need to do is you will need to remove those factory clamps and replace it with marine clamps. It's a pretty easy fix and it will make sure your CV does not sling grease everywhere as you're driving down the road. The other thing that will happen when you lift your machine is your upper control arm ball joint will start to be really compressed and it will squeeze grease out. The factory ones are non-greasable, so what you're gonna need to do is you're probably gonna want to get new upper control arms that have higher caster and have better range for your lift. Here are my old upper control arms and they were leaking all about the boot over here. And here are the new ones. They are greasable and they have a larger range of motion. Steering wheel chatter. I have no idea what causes this or if this is normal, but I'm just gonna leave it. Your low range gearbox lever activation for center diff lock in high lock and low lock. Below this whole thing here is the transfer case, and there are 2 switches that will actuate when you shift to lock and then for lock, okay? 2 switches. And these 2 switches, over time, if you don't use them, they will fill with gunk, and every time you shift the lever, it will not actuate, no matter how hard you try. What's that saying again? If you don't use it, you lose it? Yeah, I think that's right. So if you ever need to drive over a curb, shift to low. If you're at the mall parking lots trying to climb on snow mountains, shift to low. If you need to show off your new ride, you pop the hood. So to get those 2 switches working again, you'll have to go underneath the car, clip the wires, and bypass them with your own switches. After you fix this, you'll be able to activate your center diff lock, your rear diff lock, as well as your A-track. I'm not going to show you the details of how to do this right now, but if you want to know how to do it, I'll make another video about it. Just comment below and let me know. A breather mod, and this is if you want to go scuba diving with your FJ Cruiser, going into deep water and making sure that the water does not mix into all your oils and fluids. There are about 4 breathers in your FJ Cruiser. There's one for the rear differential, there's one for your E-locker, there's one for your transmission, and then there's one for your transfer case. What I've done is I've taken off those factory breathers and I've connected them with the hosing that you saw earlier, and I've connected them and I've run them all up to the front of the engine bay where they're safe from water getting into them. The breathers for the transmission and the transfer case are down in this little crevice here. It's between the firewall and the engine, so you have to stick your hand in there to find it. The transfer case breather, I believe it is hosed up and attached on a clip somewhere on the engine bay, tucked in there, so you have to stick your hand and find it. The transmission breather is just a nub right on top of the transmission. There's no chance in hell that I would be able to figure out how to attach a hose on that, so that just stays in there, so that's not connected as a part of the system. And after it's all said and done, I have all these hoses connected, and it's on this little air filter that I bought and just clipped on the side here. Again, I'm not going to go over all the details of this mod because it does take a lot of time, but if you do want a video about it, let me know in the comments below. Your brake calipers. These things are notorious for seizing. This would be my 3rd time replacing those brake calipers now. So make sure you do routine maintenance checks on them, keep them clean, keep them in motion, make sure the pistons still move. Otherwise, they're gonna seize and you're gonna be pulling from one side or the other under braking. So aside from that, there's really not much else that's wrong with the FJ. It's a really reliable machine. I mean, it's a Toyota, so duh. Thanks for the support, guys. Any questions, just hit me up below. Also, if you have an FJ Cruiser, comment on some things that have broken for you. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Warm camping season's coming up, so there's a ton of new great content on the way. I'll check you guys later.